Hello, scholars. Today I'm going to walk through the scholar group process. So let's look at the steps for the scholar groups. Step number one, share our TDQ, our text dependent question. Now remember, your text dependent question is your POC, but it has either according to paragraph one, according to the author, what's the theme of paragraph one, it just has some sort of information from the text in that question. Number two, choose a presenter. Remember, the presenter is someone that's doing the scholar group process on the chart paper. The presenter gives an opening speech, and I will show you how that looks. Number four, group members ask questions. Number five, complete scholar group process on chart paper. Number six, presenter gives closing speech. And number seven, complete the whip around, where everybody shares one thing they've learned because of the scholar group process. And of course, writing our summary on the second page. These are some examples of what the text dependents look like. What is the meaning of the word? What does the author mean by sentence? Why are statistics, anecdotes, and quotes used in paragraph? How do paragraph through support the main idea? Or which sentence best supports the main idea, author's claim, and why? Now, these are some of the resources I will be using. We have the 30-second opening speech and the 30-second closing speech, as well as a group member inquiry guide. These are just some questions that you can use when the presenter has written their TDQ, and these are some of the questions that the group members can ask. Remember, throughout the scholar group process, make sure you have your scholar group request form ready to rock and roll. So the very first step of the scholar group session is for everybody to share their TDQ question. So for example, if I was part of your group, I would share, according to the article, why did Jane Goodall decide to study chimpanzees and not another animal? Okay, this is a really good test dependent question because I referenced the article, and then this is some of the question. This is my POC question. So let's say, for example, I was chosen to be the presenter. And again, you always I want to ask for some risk takers first. So my name would be here, Mr. Salinas. Okay, if I was a presenter. Now, the notes part, what I have my scholars do, I tell them to put their TDQ question. Okay, so I tell them to put their TDQ question here. That way the group members know what they need to help on. Okay, what question, what's their TDQ? So remember, the whole point of the scholar group process is not to give them the answer. You want to give them questions to guide the presenter to the answer. So what we shouldn't be doing is saying, okay, Mr. Sones, do you think she studied chimpanzees because this? No, no. You always want to start off with some questions. So a really good question is, in what paragraph or how do you know she studies chimpanzees? I would say that's a great question, and I would look at my article. So if I look at my article, so I'm going to the paragraph. I would say, hey, well, according to paragraph one, it says, we know about how chimpanzees interact with each other. It is because of one person, Jane Goodall. So that kind of gives me an idea of what she was able to study. Okay, why she wanted to study chimpanzees. So again, I would have me write the question here. So I asked the question. My scholar said, how do you know she studies chimpanzees? And I could say something like, according to paragraph one, states that know about how can we interact is because of Jane. So that was one of the questions that was asked. So I'm just putting my response here. So something else that we can ask, and again, looking at the inquiry guide, which is located here. And I forgot to mention before we even start answering those questions, this is the speech that the presenter gives. They give their 30-second opening speech. So they share their text dependent question, what they understand so far, their reading strategies, and how the group members can ask questions. So what questions do you have to assist me in understanding my question? So remember, you do have everything here. You have what you understand, you have your TDQ, you have your reading strategy. So you're just saying it out loud to the class members. So these are some of the questions that the group members can ask. Okay. So if you wanted another example that she studied chimpanzees, a good one that you can say is, how do you know that? Can you give another example? And of course, I would have to go back to the article and find another paragraph where she did study chimpanzees. So another one can be, that's a good question, and I would say something like, according to paragraph 3, it says she thought it was important to cover all 81 years of this scientist's career up to the present, not just her work on chimpanzees. Okay, so talking about Goodall. So we do have the TDQ here. We have the scholars asking questions and the presenter trying his or her very best to answer the question. Okay, so another good question can be, why do you think Jane Goodall decided to study chimpanzees? And again, it can be either a question, it can be an answer that I can come up with, or I can look at the article. So perfect. So looking at paragraph 4, the question it was, why do I think she decided to study chimpanzees? And I can say, in my opinion, I think she decided to chimpanzees because she enjoyed being in the wild. Now, if a scholar says, hey, where in the article can I see what inspired her to study chimpanzees? That would be perfect. According to paragraph 4, it says, Goodall enjoyed observing her family pets as a child. She also loved being in nature and reading books like The Story of Dr. Dolittle, a fictional tale about a veterinarian who travels to Africa and learns to speak to animals. Okay, so that can be else something else that I can write here. Okay, Jane Goodall was inspired to observe chimpanzees because she enjoyed looking over the family pet and reading books about Dr. Dolittle. Okay. So I'm writing down my responses to these questions, okay, because I want to answer my own question. So I'll go back to the TDQ. According to the article, why did Jane Goodall decide to study chimpanzees and not another animal? Okay. So again, looking through the article again, I'm trying to find more responses to help me answer my TDQ. Mhm. Good. So again, paragraph 9, it says, the Gombe Stream Game Reserve is now a national park in Tanzania, A national park is an area of land protected by the government to help preserve it. It was incumbent that Goodall change the scientific research of animals forever. Civil rights of Goodall focus on chimpanzees as individuals with their own personalities. Okay. Okay, even paragraph 8 is a good one. When she was in Africa, Goodall quickly got herself a job with Louis Leakey, a famous scientist who studied early animals in Africa. Leakey encouraged Goodall and helped her study chimpanzees in the wild. Okay, so there's a lot of paragraphs that can support my response. So I can say something like, according to paragraph 8, it states that, and that can be one of the reasons why she decided to study chimpanzees. So let's say we were done with the notes section. We then jump into the reading strategies. And so I do apologize. So we're done with the notes section. And now we're going to jump into the reading strategy section. And all you have to do is add the reading strategies that you have in your Scholar Group request form, which is right here. Okay. So I'm getting my reading strategies. And we're just putting them in this little section right here. So I have my reading strategies here. So I have my notes, I have my reading strategy, and then I have my vocabulary. And remember, when it comes to the vocabulary, all you're doing is adding 3 words from the story that you want your group members to know. Okay. So let's say for this example, one of the key words would be chimpanzee. Another one we can put is, let's see, the word veterinarian. Okay. And then one more word, we're going to have the word untamed, which was the title of one of the books. So this is the Scholar Group process. So again, we want the presenter to answer their own question with questions provided by the group members to guide them to the answer. We have the reading strategies, which, remember, I was able to get them from my Scholar Group request form right here. And last but not least, we do have the vocabulary. Again, 3 words that you want your group members to know. Okay, so once I'm done with that, all I have to do now is close the speech. So I was confused on, and then you're just sharing your TDQ. You share the new strategies. You share your new understanding of the TDQ. And then you talk about the reading strategies that you used. You then thank your group members. Thank you for helping me. It makes me feel. So we've closed the speech. And now all you have to do is do the whip around, which is this part. And each group member shares a bullet point. So for example, if I was one of the group members, I would share something like, during Scholar Groups, I gained a new understanding of why Jane Goodall decided to study chimpanzees because I read paragraph number 3 or number 4, and because of the presenter. So once everybody shares, you are then going to write the summary frame. You're going to write the summary, which it says, your summary should be written in complete sentences and include the following: the title or topic of your selection, the author or source of the text selection, the main ideas of your text selection, summarized using your own words. The focus should be on the part of the text that was initially confusing. So we'll be using this summary frame to write our summary right here. And that's it, scholars. Remember, the Scholar Group process, it is challenging, again, but we're working on our critical thinking, our speaking, our reading, our listening, and collaboration skills. But you got this, scholars, and I hope you have a beautiful day.